Good morning. Mic check. I see Lenny in there, Mr. Miami Cool, Z from NYC, Mergen, Mish, Jen, Lisa, Vicky, Mark, got Red, Z, Julie. Good morning, everyone. Decided to join us today. Grace us with her presence. What? Parliament in the workplace. Sometimes people use the word please. How about that? Move that. Man. Danny, thank you very much for that subscription. Appreciate that. Jen and Lisa dropping in some gifted subs. Thank you.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning and welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
Thank you to everyone checking in on Twitch, on volume.com, and on YouTube Live. We are across all three platforms today. Maybe we'll add some more. Maybe we should just keep it going. Instagram
what
Live.
Else is,
Does Facebook Live still, is that still a thing?
Well, according to the scammers that are emailing everyone to be on our podcast, yes.
So I guess that works. Mm-hmm. It's funny when we first, thank you very much.
What just happened?
We are in a hype train. We got a sub from Sarah from Michigan, and Julie gifted 100 bits. All of that just happened. So when we first got let go, within that first year, I believe, an old radio friend reached out and said they were working for a company that was also working with Facebook to launch their competitor to Clubhouse.
Live audio rooms.
Yeah. If you remember, during the pandemic, Clubhouse was like the app. People were trying to get in. You had to be invited. It was a wait list.
We never talked about this because I don't think we were supposed to, but it's okay.
No, I've talked about it before. But it's crazy. I haven't been on Facebook since helping with that project. Yeah. I really don't see. I'm not on WhatsApp. I'm not on Facebook. Continue.
I'm on the Facebook these days because I sell a lot of stuff in Marketplace, and I also am looking for some stuff there, like a new table and everything. Yeah. So I'll go in Marketplace, and then you get sucked into the other side, and it's actually kind of nice because like my mom will post photos of me, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I have no idea what's being posted on there, and apparently my stories or maybe I don't know, something from Instagram gets posted directly to Facebook.
But it's your fan page.
I have no idea.
It's not your personal one.
But I don't even know what people are responding about.
Oh, I know that people will respond to stories, but Facebook doesn't show you what the story was. So if I go in, I just have messages that are like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "What? What are we talking about here?" So it's a mess. But I was on Facebook and I started like seeing a lot of fake news being shared from people that I know, and it is
on Facebook.
It is legitimately there are facts, there's science, it was all different things, but it was like 100% like none of this is real. I'm not even going to get into the politics of it. And I remember being like, fuck this. I know the truth. I'm going to start sharing screenshots or whatever or articles. I don't even know what people are saying. So I started doing it. And at first, no one's fighting because they're just like, what are people going to say to me?
I don't know.
Because then I think they look into it and they're like, oh. So now I have made myself this is my mission, is to fix the broken people that follow me. That are my, like, and I'm not talking fan page. I'm talking.
Like your people you know directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
News to them. They found out a lot of new stuff when I started sharing news on there.
Yeah. Facebook, I just don't know if it's the place for me. There's too much going on, first off.
It's very confusing.
I don't really know how to even post anymore. Do you remember?
Do you know how to post videos to Facebook?
I think it was an AT&T commercial, and they're at a tailgate, and a guy asks the question, does anyone know how to post videos to Facebook? And for some reason, that became like a meme.
Yeah.
This commercial, by the way, that I'm talking about, is like 10 years old at this point, at least. But I've logged on in the past, I don't know, year and a half, and I look at it and I say, what is going on?
I only get one.
There's so much. There's a dating app in Facebook now. You can sell things. You can apply for jobs. I don't know. There's too much going on there.
I don't know if you can apply for.
You can. It's crazy. You can play games that are built into Facebook. There's too much going on.
Sonali said she reports fake news.
Well, now what I have to also do, because I mentioned how I don't use Facebook, which means I don't use Facebook Messenger. I don't use WhatsApp. But it is the easiest way, or the most international way people communicate now.
It is.
So, especially with everything going on in Lebanon now, I think I have to download, because I think my family has a group WhatsApp.
What?
That I'm not in at all.
I would love to be in it.
And also, I should mention this. There are a lot of people, because of Israel bombing Lebanon yesterday, and really for the past week, a lot of people have reached out asking how my family is doing. So I did get in touch with some of my family members who are still living in Lebanon, mainly in Beirut, in the capital city. And everyone is physically okay. Their homes are fine.
Good.
But the weird thing is, first off, it's only physically okay. I mean, I can't imagine living in a place where you don't know if someone's going to drop a bomb on your head at any moment.
Right now, sitting here.
And then the other thing, both my cousins that responded to me last night said, yeah, everyone's good. They're brother and sister. One of them now lives in Canada. But they said, yeah, everyone in the family is good for now. Like, that's the craziest part, is it's not like a hurricane or an earthquake or, God forbid, even a school shooting. Right? Where you check in.
There's an end.
You check in when you find out about the event, it's usually already over. And they go, yeah, we're good, hopefully.
We're good up until this moment of me texting you.
Yeah. So that's kind of crazy.
It's scary.
So I'll probably have to download WhatsApp.
Not a bad reason.
Look at what they made me do.
Unfortunately, yes, but not to keep in touch with family is not a bad reason. But it's 6:10 p.m. in Lebanon. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what the time difference was. So when they were texting you, last night, it was like their morning.
Yeah. Yeah. When my cousin Joe messaged me last night, he had just woken up. So
Joe.
Joseph.
That's not what you call him.
Zuzu?
Zuzu.
Yeah. Lebanese people have a bunch of nicknames. I have in my family, three of my cousins. No, I'll give you 5 nicknames. 2 of them don't really use that nickname anymore. Okay? But we have Zuzu, Gigi, Masha, what was Antoine? Nino, and Nusha. Those were all nicknames that my family members had.
Did children make these nicknames?
No, the aunts and uncles did. The parents did. So you have.
You said Nino?
Yeah.
That's very Italian of you.
It is. Actually, I didn't realize that. It does. That's also one of the 3 Anthonys in my family, because Antoine was somehow shortened to Nino. But we have a Tony, an Antoine, and an Anthony all in my family.
Okay, that's crazy.
It's like going to a Greek family where everyone's named Nick. You know? This is my Uncle Nick. This is my cousin Nick. This is my nephew Nick. This is my grandfather Nick.
The first 3 Greek people that popped into my head are all Nick.
Yeah.
And Dimitri.
Yeah, that's The only names they're allowed to have, I think.
That's so funny. Wait, I want to get back to Facebook, but also because we just talked about a Greek Nick. This is one of the most random things that has ever in my life happened to me.
Yeah.
I was at the game, Seahawks game on Sunday. Leaving the game, we had to do a whole bunch of different things. I was waiting to take a photo with my niece and her husband. I bumped into two people who follow us, watch the show, was talking to them. Like all these different things happened. And I'm walking through the stadium to leave inside. And I'm walking this way and I see this guy out of my periph walking, and he walks kind of behind me, and I'm like, is that? And then I'm like, I'm just going to yell his name, and if he turns around, it's him. And I go, Nick?
Another Nick?
And he goes, oh my God. I went to high school with this guy.
You just ran into him.
You're older than me. Game. I ran into him 3,000 miles away from our high school. He was out here visiting one of his friends. He's a huge Dolphins fan, so was here for the Dolphins game. Visiting one of his friends. He goes, I'm in the stadium, and I see you on the screen. And I'm like, I went to high school with her. He goes, and I didn't even have your number. And I was like, this is insane. He looks the exact same. He's a cop in my town now. Oh, so then him and Anthony were talking.
Other Anthony.
It was just like one of those.
By the way, the other Anthony, since he's not here, is Carla Marie's niece's husband.
Yeah, it was just
who is a cop.
He was just the whole like. It was such a bizarre situation to bump into someone you went to high school.
Yeah.
With. I haven't seen that man in person.
Yeah.
Probably since 2005.
That was like, there was a time Carla Marie and I were flying for work. I forgot where we were going, maybe to Austin. I have no idea. But running through the Seattle airport, just happened to run into a kid who I was really good friends with in college. Hadn't talked to him since probably the day we graduated. And he was, I think, it was a layover for a flight to Alaska from New Jersey.
And
or
we were going to
like
Vegas,
that.
I think.
Maybe that's what it was. And it was one of those things, you run into each other for like 3 minutes, you
Yeah.
catch up on each other's lives.
It was great.
And you keep going.
But
I wish that's what Facebook was.
I know. Like speed dating.
No, speed acquaintancing. Oh, I wonder
It was great.
I wonder what that
Selfie.
person is doing now. And then you get all the good information, you exchange pleasantries, and then you're done. Almost like a Be Real, but for people that you don't really know that well or any longer.
Should we invent this? What can we call it?
I don't know. I don't know how you do. You have to have like a temporary.
And how do I talk to them?
No, you don't. You just see like a little glimpse of their life, but you don't get to scroll like 80 pages down.
Just like a quick little like news update about what they have going on.
Maybe just like oh look, I think those are his two kids. Maybe that's his wife, and they live here, and that's it.
Yeah,
and then you move on.
That'd be nice,
right?
That's what I've kind of been doing on Facebook. I'm like, well, because I'll go, who is this person? And then I realize their last name is different, and I'm like, well, what was their last name? I don't even, like, it's so bizarre.
I have unfollowed mistakenly a bunch of people because of that. I see their thing come up on Instagram, and I'm like, I don't know you. Unfollow. And then once I hit the unfollow button, I realized who it was. Speaking of which, and hopefully you don't do this to us because that would hurt my feelings, but I have been unfollowing the hell out of people on Instagram for probably like 3 or 4 weeks now. And I don't know if this is unusual. I follow, at the moment, 1,200 people, 1,260.
I think mine's 4K.
I was at, I think, 1,700. And I was realizing with every additional follow or interaction, we've talked about this on social media, the algorithm pushes more things in your face. And I said, I am going to work on Instagram and Twitter, which are the only two apps I really use at this point. I'm going to work towards fixing my algorithm. So when I opened my Explore page, for a long time, it was just butts. A lot of butts. It was butts, for some reason, Legos, which I'm not even a big fan of. I mean, I was when I was a kid. Phone stuff, and workout things, and
butt
sneakers,
stuff.
And Pokemon.
And butt stuff.
And butt stuff. So what I started doing is going through if like a reel comes up on Instagram, and it's something completely out of what I'm interested in, I will literally hit the not interested button anymore. Or I'll go through my Explore page and say, this isn't for me. This isn't for me. Stop showing me this. Stop showing me this creator. And I have such a pleasant experience now on Instagram.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think you need to download the app that I talked about on What's Trending today, though.
That is a good app. I do want to check that out. What was it called again?
ClearSpace. So I then, after I recorded the podcast, I said, I'm going to do the paid version, the 7-day trial, just to see.
Okay.
So now I've blocked myself out of Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Now, blocked myself means I let myself open.
Explain what the app does.
I let myself open Instagram 10 times per day, and then I choose the amount of time I want to use it. And if I know I have to do a post, I'll select 10 minutes. If I just need to respond to someone or check on something, I will do 2 minutes.
What if, I have a question.
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, okay. What if, because I open up apps by accident a lot.
You can't open it by accident.
Okay.
When you open it, it then goes to clear space, and it's like this whole process. And you can even set that time. Like I want you to kind of stall me for 30 seconds so I can decide.
Okay.
I have it. It was 15 seconds. I have it to 20, and half the time I'm like, never mind, I don't need it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The amount of times I pull up Instagram at stoplights.
Not anymore. It's nuts. When I am telling you, I can't believe that in such a short time I have started to break a 10-year buildup of an addiction. It's crazy. I will physically pick up my phone less. I will pick up my phone and open Instagram. Yeah. That's just what I always do.
It's like a natural thing.
Not doing it anymore. And if this ends up hurting me as a creator, so be it. I will have a better mental. Yeah. I'll have better mental health. I will be getting other things done in my life.
Sweet Eats by V was talking about in the chat what I was mentioning earlier. Not unsubscribing, but just like kind of doing my best to program my algorithm the way I want it to be. And she said, I do the same thing with ads on Instagram. She'll hit the not interested or not for me button, which could sound like you're being mean to this, like, because sometimes it's small businesses or whatever, but you're actually helping them. Because what Instagram and Facebook are doing is they are talking to these businesses, big and small, saying, oh, we can get you in front of 40,000 people in 1 week. But as a business owner, you don't fully know if those 40,000 people are actually interested in your product. Mm-hmm. So by doing that, you are holding the mega corporation, Meta, responsible and not letting them use you for products that you aren't interested in while selling you to a client. So it's actually a good thing to do. It helps a lot for small businesses because they want to get in front. They don't want to be in front of you if you're not interested. That's not the point.
No, it definitely does help them. Because if we put an ad and someone was like, I hate them, and they hit not interested, it would help us find people that are with the money that you're spending on that ad.
Fred the Millman said, my algorithm is butts, beards, burgers, barbells, perfection. You know what's funny? There are people like Fred the Mailman's one of them. My brother Justin's another. Our friend Brett is another. We will send one another videos on Instagram and on a weekly basis. It's like, oh yeah, I just saw that one too. Our algorithms are all syncing up now. Yeah.
But now I'll go into my Instagram DMs, and because I'm not sending you I'm not scrolling. That's the thing. Yeah. Now when I go to Instagram, I am purposely responding to messages or posting something. I'm rarely scrolling. Yeah. And again, this is like 2 weeks, so it's a new life for me. I'll go into my DMs from you, and I have 20 videos to watch from you because these are things that you think I should.
They're usually cat
but
things.
But normally I'm checking it daily or 10 times a day, more than that. So I can see it, and I'm like,
I'll stop sending you videos.
Well, is it stuff I need to know about?
Oh, this is how they get you. We haven't even talked about the list yet. So it is September 24th.
Very quickly, Meech said, I was driving. What is the app name again? I need it. Sorry, text moved. I hate that. I go down the rabbit hole on a whim. Yeah, it's rough. It's called Clear Space.
Clear Space.
Mm-hmm. And it's free if you want it to help you with one app. And then I think it's $45 a year if you want unlimited apps.
That's not too bad, actually.
It's, for the amount of time you're saving in your life, it's worth it.
Okay. On the list today, what I learned in the last 24 hours, we'll talk about that in a second. Pets over true love. Does dress color matter? Rich people ruin sports. And the September bonus, the only day that we're really going to be able to use it is next Monday. And that September bonus is going to be basically if you gift 5 or more subs, Twitch will add on some bonus subs on top of that. So we would make like whatever you would pay for 5 bonus gifted subs, we'd make a little bit more money thanks to Twitch. So what I learned in the last 24 hours, Carla Marie, I think it happened. I think I'm finally in the club.
Which one?
So I think I'm in like the big guy club at the gym. I think it happened.
I think I know where this is
because
going.
in 1 week's time, 3 of the biggest guys at LA Fitness in Ballard have asked me for a spot.
I saw the redhead dude ask you. He's big? I don't know if he's big. I think he's lying to you right now.
He's a big guy. He was, so the reason you were, oh, that's right, you were there yesterday.
I watched it happen. I was going to take a video.
So this guy who I've never talked to before, thank you very much, Marijuana, for the 5 gifted subs. So a guy that I've never talked to before at the gym came up to me as I was doing my incline bench press, and he was doing the seated overhead barbell.
It looked very hard. He had a lot of weight on it.
He had 255 pounds on there, or 245.
So this.
Yeah. 200.
Sitting
I've
down.
never done 245 pounds on that. Disco lights.
The lights go off when you're lying.
Oh, you had it. Just push. See if that helps. Okay, you see what that green thing is? Yeah. Stick your hand behind there. There should be a wire. Jiggle the wire a little bit. There, oh, you had it. You had it.
That's the angle.
You're plugged in.
I know.
We'll make it work. I promise. No, put your hand behind there. Stop smacking it. Thank you.
No, it stopped, but I had to get my fingers out and start it again.
Just keep your finger there. You good? All right, perfect. So he had 200 and I think it was 45 pounds because he had 2 45s on each side and then maybe a 5 or a 10. I don't remember, but it was a lot of weight. And I did have to, I was actually worried because that's a lot of weight and it's a weird position to spot someone in because you're on these like 2 platforms for your feet.
Watching.
And no disrespect to him, he couldn't get it up, the weight. And I did have to help him. So I had to sit there and like curl as he was pushing. Obviously, it wasn't all, it was helping very little. But I think I made it because last week there's a big Viking looking guy who works out of the gym like every day. He asked me to help him.
So with the hair? Just like back hair?
Yeah, usually in a ponytail. Yeah. Super nice. I talk to him all the time. This is the first time he asked me to spot him.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, I'm on a roll. Dude. And then there was another big guy that same week, late last week, that asked me to spot him. So I think I'm in the club. I think they trust me at least. Like, I'm not as big as any of these guys.
If someone ever asked me to spot them, I'd be like,
You'd be surprised how little you actually have to help.
Okay, first of all, I wasn't saying I couldn't do it.
Okay.
Just
well, that was the voice you made.
Just in general, because what if you drop it on their head? Fred the mailman said the 1,000 club comes with benefits. You officially earned your bro elite.
Oh yeah,
card.
maybe they all saw my 1,000 club post, my 1,000 pound club post. Maybe, but I think I made it. So in the last 24 hours,
that's impressive.
That's where I am. We'll see. I mean, maybe it was just like they're just having a fling with me, and I'm not really part of the club, but maybe I am. What?
They're having a fling with you?
Yeah, maybe it was more of like a test, and they want to know, and then they're going to keep an eye on what I'm lifting. Okay. But what have you learned in the last 24 hours, Carla Marie? Anything?
Well, I didn't really come prepared for this.
All right. Well, then we are going to move on because you were telling me this morning that you've seen some disturbing posts about pets and living situations.
Yes.
And we will talk about that right after this quick break. All right, let's do it, Carla Marie, shall we?
Yeah.
Here we go. So, right before we took that break, I mentioned how Carla Marie saw what you were calling a disturbing trend on social media. So why don't we get into it?
I've seen an odd amount of people lately rehoming their pets, cats or dogs, not because something's wrong with that animal, but because their significant other is either allergic or doesn't get along with that animal. Some of these people are people that I know. Some of them are people I have no idea who they are, and I've seen these posts. And they're rehoming the pet. First of all, unless the pet is causing danger to your life, there's never a case where you need to rehome a pet. Unless you're maybe, or are you moving to, like, you...
It's tough.
I know they're not children, but you have cared for this animal for however long. You have treated it as if it is child, most likely. Yeah. And now you're essentially abandoning it.
Are old people allowed to take pets to assisted living homes?
I think sometimes that does happen, but some assisted living homes do let you.
Because I can imagine that being a legitimate reason. Like, if you can't take care of yourself anymore, someone should take care of the pet as well.
I completely agree with that.
And
but if you're 26, moving in with your boyfriend that's allergic to dogs or cats, and you need to now abandon this animal you've had for 5 years,
that's tough.
I don't care if they're allergic. Then you don't move in together, and you wait till that animal dies. And this is a hill that I will die on. Yeah.
The interesting thing, because you mentioned significant others not getting along with pets. How do you fall in love with someone enough to move in with them if they don't like your pet? Or if they and they don't have to love it as much as you, obviously. That's your thing. You saw it when it was a puppy or a kitty or a guppy, whatever you had. How do you develop a strong relationship with someone who hates your pet? I think is almost a better question.
I know someone who that was essentially one of their red flags and reasons they ended their relationship, was because the person was like, I don't think I could. You sleep with your cats, mind you. The cat was like 12, so this person has had their cat there for 12 years, and like, I can't. If you sleep with your cat, I can't be there. And they're like, okay, well then we're done, and that's fine. Like, goodbye to the human.
Yeah. So Erica P said, I couldn't date any guys with dogs or kids because I'm allergic to them too. But Erica P is allergic to dogs. And that's fine. No one's saying you're a bad person for being allergic to dogs. But have you had issues dating guys who have dogs? Because if I had a dog, for example, and this thing was like my best friend, we'd went on walks every day, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then 5 years into me having a dog, I met a girl. And she happened to be allergic. I just can't imagine we were going to be hanging out a lot after that.
Right. You wouldn't be. This is a great point. Gabby brings up Zach and Bliss from Love is Blind. They ended up dating, and he was severely allergic. So I think the dog, it lived with her mom while he got allergy shots, and now the dog's back in the house. And
it was a whole. And that's a little different because they felt.
No, we're saying like they. Yes, that was like super random. They felt Love is Blind, whatever.
Well, yeah, because they're in a controlled space while they are falling in love and hanging out, and the dog's not there.
But this is a good story.
No,
he went
I like it. Yeah, of course.
Got allergy shots, and I know that's a process. It is not easy. It is not cheap. But again, from the beginning, if we ever broke up and I had to date someone and they were like, I hate cats, I'd be like, well, let's see how this goes, because I bet you won't hate cats when you meet mine. 1, 2, if you're allergic to cats, I'm not going on a second date with you.
It's fair.
It's just I'm not putting myself in a situation where I am going to have this conundrum, because I will have to have this conundrum. I'm not going to do it. I got other shit to worry about in my life.
Yeah. That's, I think, the toughest thing for me is figuring out how you got there to begin with. Now, I'm sure there are other reasons outside of significant others. Like, okay, here's a great example, Carla Marie. What would you do in this scenario? You've had a cat for, let's say, 2 years. Okay? You get pregnant. You find out your baby is allergic to cats. I don't know if that's common, but it could be, right? That could be a scenario.
It's happened, but I wonder.
Oh, okay.
It's happened to some people, but I think normally the case if you have the pet and you have the infant at the same time, the baby does develop a resistance.
Oh, okay.
But there is definitely, that has happened to some people, and I don't know what you do in that case. I would truly just have to give my baby to my mom.
Erica P said in the chat that she is allergic to almost everything. So most people are just telling her it won't work in their relationship if she's allergic to their pet.
That sucks, but I'm on their side.
No, it makes it, listen, there are a million different obstacles and barriers from people being in relationships. That's just one.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Right. But then you have to find someone that, like, hates animals, probably.
Or just doesn't have them. Like, I never loved or hated animals. I didn't have any.
That's true. You can get a gecko.
I did have tank pets, Cajun tank pets.
That was the other thing we need to talk about.
All right, continue. What do you
just
got?
Writing it down. Hold on. For tomorrow. I don't want to forget.
Okay.
Gabby said, oh, my God, I used to watch pets in college for a part-time job, and I knew when one man went to go to his girlfriend because his pet wasn't allowed in her home. But one time I had to watch his dog and her yappy dog, and I was like, yes, I like this gig, but also break up with her. Okay, so it was just that his dog was not allowed in her place. Okay.
Like, I did date a girl once who had a very annoying chihuahua, and this thing would just not stop barking over and over. And, like, if I was over her house, and this is what this is like right after college, so we're both still living with our parents. So I'd be at her parents' house, and I'm telling you, for 45 minutes straight, you just hear,
it's like Caroline.
Oh my God. That would have been, and listen, I'm not saying I was more important than the dog, but that's a relationship that was probably stopped because of an annoying dog and a guy who didn't like it, me.
I mean, that's fine.
And that's totally normal.
But you didn't say, get rid of your dog.
No, I didn't say, get rid of your dog. No, that's insane.
That is insane. Oh, where's this? Oh, sorry. I have 2 cats, and I would not continue to date someone if they didn't like or were allergic to my cats.
Yeah. So I think the general consensus is most people, I don't think anyone in here has said, probably because Carla Marie would yell at you, that you've given up a pet for any of those reasons. What about it is tough to move internationally with a pet, yes?
It's not as hard as you think, and it depends on the area you're going. Because I've done a lot of research. Every time I decide I'm moving to another country, first thing I look is what it's like to bring a pet there before I let my brain start dreaming about it. Mm-hmm. And most countries are like, you just got to show proof of like rabies vaccination.
Our brother mailman said, I once dated a woman who got a dog after we had been seeing each other for a year. It was the beginning of the end. The entire dynamic changed, and I was slightly allergic.
Again,
that's fine. Does she still have the dog?
She doesn't have Fred, but she has the dog. If she had Fred and not the dog,
what?
You can't just give up animals. Unless you're about to be homeless.
This is a tough one because I had a friend who did this because of a breakup. Drown You Out said I had to give up my dog in a divorce, but she was better off with my ex, and we had joint custody for a while.
That's completely different.
That's tough, though.
That's still, the dog is still going to someone who made a commitment.
Of course, yeah. But I wonder, so this is something I think of all the time. If you have to leave for a trip, right, and you have kids and a pet, like a cat or a dog, you can tell your kids, as long as they're old enough, hey, I'll be back in 4 days.
No, I don't want to talk about it.
And you can talk to them while you're gone, right? You can text back and forth, whatever. You can't do that with a dog.
No.
Much like that's the same situation with a divorce. You can talk to your kids through a divorce. You can tell your kids, hey, I'm going to live in a different house, but mommy and daddy still love you, blah, 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 all of that stuff. You can't do that with a dog.
This was the hardest thing for me when I moved. I guess it was when I moved out of my parents, and I had I was like, how do I tell Romeo that,
which is a dog,
that I'm like, I can't call him.
Yeah.
So when I would call my parents' house, I guess I was in college too, but when I would call my parents' house and they didn't answer, I would just leave a voicemail. So my mom had all these voicemails being like, hi man, I miss you.
Because it goes, because you
would hear it in the house. Yeah. So my mom would be like, oh, another voicemail for the dog. But again, that doesn't even happen anymore. Now you could FaceTime them, but they don't know what the hell's happening.
Yeah.
Some pets definitely do. But yeah, what do the cats think is happening when we're leaving? Now they know. Question. They know once they see the luggage.
Can you give me the mouse, please?
I think they know we're coming back. But this last trip, we didn't take luggage, so they were probably thinking we went to work.
AMS 06H said, when we moved to Japan, we had to get a second microchip for my dog, and she had to get her
rabies and
it just moved. Pretty good.
Rabies and 2 titers. I don't know what that is. And then start a 6-month quarantine. Now, does that quarantine mean they can't leave the house? Or
with you, I'm assuming, like with the owner. Not
What's
like in a quarantine with like a lab.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what it would be like. Marijuana said, we have a Ring camera set up in our house to keep an eye on our dog and talk to him when he freaks out and we're out of town. Makes sense. But like Max, for example, if I'm gone for a long time, you've said that Max goes up to the room where the studio is.
She'll like kind of be like, is he in there?
And she'll look for me. So like, do you talk to her? Do you let her know that I'm okay?
I say he's not in there. And I open the door. I'm like, he's not here, Max. Let's see what they do this weekend.
This is a good point. G. Maurice said the pet cameras these days can give them treats and talk to them. And obviously can't cuddle, but you can throw treats to your pets, which is pretty good. And there's the laser pointer one too.
I don't have it anymore, but yeah. Pet Cube.
Do dogs care about laser pointers?
I don't think so. I'm sure some do, but.
All right, moving on. From pets over true love. Does your dress color matter at a wedding?
Okay, so
this
now
is obviously something I'm not worried about.
Now that you're saying this, I am having deja vu of us talking about it, but because it's so close, it's something that is making me nervous.
Okay.
So, your brother is getting married in 3 weeks. His fiance has asked me, and I believe 2 of her friends, to wear the exact same color dress as the bridal party, emerald green.
Okay.
I told her when she first asked me this more than a year ago, that makes me so uncomfortable for several reasons.
Uncomfortable?
Yes, because here's why. Anytime I go to a wedding, I always ask, what color is the bridal party wearing?
Okay.
And I find out what that color is, and I do not wear that dress.
Okay.
Because I don't want to match. I don't want to be like, is that girl in the bridal party? Or also like, that's their thing. There's a billion other colors in the world. I don't have to wear that color. If it's black, too bad. Yeah. Everyone's wearing black. I'm not worried. She wants me to match the bridal party. And I am concerned that people that don't really know me, because there's going to be a lot of people that don't know me, your family, her family, are going to be like, the brother's girlfriend is wearing the same color as the bridal party. Do you think she did it on purpose?
But I'm assuming you're not the only person she's asking.
2 friends.
Okay.
Now.
So she's saying like you're an extended bridal party member, basically.
Well, here's the thing. Generally, I don't give a fuck what people think about me.
Okay.
That's normally if I don't care what they think about me if it's true and they are judging me. I don't care. It's not true that I'm trying to do this on purpose.
No, you were asked.
But I'm going to have to wear a sign.
No, I don't think you have to
I'm
wear it.
I'm going to be telling everyone, hi, nice to meet you. Rihanna told me to wear this dress.
Kick me sign on your back. This is a good point from Morgan. She said, does she want you to wear that color for photos? Because
I think so.
If you're in photos with me.
The whole family's going to like.
That actually makes sense.
I think that's what it is.
Because I'm assuming her sister is in a similar dress. My cousin who is in the bridal party will be in a similar dress. So it would make the photos match.
But I'm not. Why would I be in a photo with her sister?
If we're taking like a full family picture. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know how fucking weddings work. This is the first time I'm a best man. I'm still trying to figure that part out. But
I think that's what it is, because then you hang up the photo and everyone like looks nice and like their suits and then the dark color dresses and then I'm in pink. It's weird.
Exactly. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
I think you're overthinking this a lot.
No, it's definitely weird. I've told friends and family and they've all said that definitely makes me uncomfortable for you.
I think guys don't normally care.
I'm doing it. I got my dresses, figuring out which one to wear.
I think guys normally don't care about matching whoever with suits. Because suits are pretty standard, but we always end up matching the servers. So it doesn't matter.
It's true.
It's like, what are you wearing? Oh, a tux. And you're either wearing a suit with a bow tie or a regular tie. It's pretty standard.
I will say I know the material that the bridesmaids are wearing, and I am not wearing that material. So that may help.
Was that asked, or is that it just happened that way?
I just said I know what they're wearing, and I'm not wearing that.
I do like the trend. I don't know. I guess it started somewhat recently. Instead of telling all the bridesmaids to wear the same exact dress, it's like a style of dress and a color.
This is why it's even worse.
Why?
Because, yes, I love that trend, but in this situation, it's going to look like I'm also getting ready with them.
Okay, yeah, you're part of the.
Which I'm excited about.
You're an extended member of the bridal party.
I just don't want people that don't know me making false assumptions.
So here's what I would say to that, Carla Marie. The people that don't know you will most likely get to know you at some point, and then they'll know that this is the whole scenario.
Because I'm going to tell them immediately the second that I meet them.
The people who don't know you and don't get to know you don't matter.
Yeah, correct. I agree.
So who cares?
Sure.
I've overheard so many conversations between women talking about what they're wearing to weddings and like all of these things that you're bringing up.
Well,
who cares?
So our friend Erica Shea recently found out that wearing red to a wedding is like kind of frowned upon.
Why?
And she always wears red to weddings. She posted about this. It's not like this was a secret.
Why?
So wearing red to a wedding is considered like to be showy, and that you are kind of like showing up the bride and or groom.
Okay, let's see.
You have to put.
What am I putting in here?
No, you're good. Keep going. Keep. Right there at the top. It's literally said, I know the rule about not wearing red to a wedding, but.
A rule?
Oh, that was. Go down here. Is it improper to wear a red dress to a wedding?
Okay. While red is typically considered an appropriate color, appropriate, not inappropriate, to wear to most weddings, there are certainly some instances where you'll want to avoid it. We'll dive into more in a bit. That's on the not. So it looks like it's appropriate.
No.
Who made up this rule? Does anyone else in the chat know this stupid rule about not wearing red? I'm going to wear a red dress.
I've worn deep red to a wedding, not like...
Like a maroon?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't wear red to a wedding, but I feel like it's... And I also get weirded out now. When I was younger, I definitely wore like brighter colors to a wedding. Because I personally never wore dark colors. I always wore something bright in general.
Yeah.
So when I'd go to a wedding, why am I going to dress like I'm going to a funeral? So I would always wear something bright. And now looking back, I'm like, you're just kind of supposed to let the bridal party and the bride and the groom have their day. You don't need to wear a hot pink dress.
Why not? No one cares.
I don't know. I didn't make it up.
I think this is a situation where women cause themselves more stress by implementing stupid rules on themselves. Right? There isn't a guy in the world who cares what dress you wear to a wedding.
No, because
this is all women putting rules on one another to make them feel ostracized or weird or like they have to conform to some other stupid rule. Just wear a dress. I agree. Don't wear white. That's the bride's color that day.
Mm-hmm. Or anything that looks like white.
Other than that.
If you have to say.
What else looks like white?
Because sometimes there's champagne dresses.
Okay.
And it's like, if you have to say, is this going to look white in photos? You don't wear it.
Okay, that's fair. I will concede. Don't wear white or colors that might look like white in a photo. Other than that.
Is it tacky to wear red to a wedding?
Okay,
plain red color.
That's on Cora.
Plain red color is not good. Colorful red dress is good to wear to a wedding. Red color.
Cora's like Reddit for idiots.
It is Reddit for idiots. Our friend Lindsay, when she got married on the website, she, I think somewhere said what color the bridal party was wearing. For this reason, to not match. And someone wore like almost the exact same dress.
And you know what?
And it was like.
And it doesn't matter.
Whoa.
It doesn't matter. Great comment from Fred the Mailman in the chat. I said, this is a masterclass in overthinking.
Yes, it is. I will
You
be
said
charging you. We got a first-time chatter. Mirrorball22 said, I used to listen to you guys on Y100 out of Miami. Miss you guys.
What up? Well,
hello.
We are here. We're here. We're queer. And we're in the clear.
Well, we're not.
And we're steers.
Those things. Any of those things, actually.
And I can't think of anything else that rhymes with here.
Beer.
We're in a sphere called Earth. That's the end of it. How about that? We're here. We have a queer in the chat. His name's Scotty. He's right there. Said I'm queer. What if that was, we're here. We have a queer. We have a steer. We need a bull. Oh, no, we have Texas Chris. He's from Texas, the Longhorn State. Those are steers.
Doesn't rhyme. Oh.
Therefore, we have a steer. What else do we have?
Fred the Mail. Oh, drinking beer.
Oh, that's a good one. We could drink a beer right now. We're in Seattle Cocktail Club's office. Anyway, back to the dresses. Can we finally maybe this is the moment where the world can heal and say, hey, world, women specifically, as long as you're not wearing white to a wedding,
You're fine.
Shut the fuck up.
No, that's not true. Because what if like your boobs are out? That's not nice to do at a
Who doesn't
wedding.
like boobs?
No.
Everyone
people say no boobs out at weddings.
Do you like seeing a nice pair of boobs, Carla Marie?
I mean, I guess. But now I'm like, those are that fake.
Who cares? See, look at that. Look at that judgmental little.
No, not judge. Just like I got your number, girl. I know.
Former fake boob wearing hoe. Okay. So back to the thing. As long as you are not wearing white, let it go. Who cares?
Thank you, Scotty.
Yes.
He said his take for anyone, male or female, don't wear something that will draw attention to you and away from the couple.
What is drawing attention? Am I wearing a disco ball?
Sometimes.
Well, like, why does a pink dress take away attention? It's a pink dress. Who cares?
What if it's pink in sequins?
God bless you. Enjoy wearing it to a New Year's Eve party later.
I mean, I'm definitely like honored that she asked me to wear the same color dress as the bridal party.
Yeah, that's not what this is about.
But I told her when we first had this conversation a year ago, I was with all the girl cousins, and we're talking, and I said something like, she goes, well, would you be mad if I purposely wore the same color as your bridesmaids? I said, yes, if you purposely wore it and I didn't ask you to do that.
But who cares? Again, why would you be? It's just a stupid dress.
It is, but because. What else?
Because you want to be. Because this is the thing. There are certain people out there, the majority of them might be women, who want so bad to be mad at something.
I've also been to weddings where, because now.
Yes or no?
No. I've been to weddings now where, because it's not like this dress that you have to go get at David's Bridal, and it's got to be this poofy bridesmaid thing, you can wear regular dresses where people have worn the same dress as the bridesmaids. And specifically, the dress that I wore as my maid of honor dress for my sister's wedding, I see people wearing it everywhere. So now I'm like, what if someone else is wearing this as their maid of honor dress? I'm not wearing it.
That is an occupational hazard of being a person who wears clothes. At some point, someone's going to wear the same thing. That's okay. Let's all relax and realize that it doesn't matter.
So, you ready?
Yes.
You ready for the ultimate?
I'm not.
You're not. You're
Let's
ready
hear it.
for this. My junior year for prom, our junior senior prom is the same.
Okay.
I got this Jessica McClintock pink dress. I loved it.
Is that someone like well known?
It's just a designer.
Okay.
And my mom was like, it needs something. So the whole bottom like skirt part of the dress, she bedazzled.
Oh wow.
But it looked awesome. It wasn't like bedazzling where I'm like, we didn't need to bling out this water bottle. It looked awesome.
Okay.
I show up to the prom and a senior is wearing the same dress, but hers was not bedazzled. And everyone was like, oh my God, but your dress has the bedazzle.
Yeah.
And it was like, I felt bad. So what happened,
Okay.
my senior year rolls around and I said, I went to our vice principal. I said, I have an idea. I said,
I know exactly where this is going.
Can we create a bulletin board where all the girls will print out photos of their dresses and put the dresses up there, and everyone will know what dresses people are buying? And he said,
But there wasn't a rule where you couldn't buy the same dress.
No, you could, just so that you know, because I went, all right, someone
That's
else
fair.
already got that dress. I don't want to wear that same dress. Or what if 3 people, like,
That's fair.
whatever.
Okay.
And he said, yes, but I just don't want girls putting photos of them in the dress up there. I don't want it to get weird. And I was like, it's fine. It's not going to get weird. And we had a prom bulletin board, and you put your photo of your dress.
Okay, that actually made way more sense. I thought you were going to try to call
This
dibs.
is why me, class president, North Arlington High School, 2006, is better than most people we had in government, solving problems.
Yeah, I mean, you're a borderline psychopath. But.
Oh, Mike Sue's, my daughter's, well, it's really Sue's, but she said, my daughter's high school does this on a Facebook page.
And here's the thing. I thought you were going to go down the line and end up saying something like you got to call dibs on a dress, which I was going to be very much against. No, but I think having a public forum where you can just post helpful information or information that others might find helpful, that's great. I'm never against that. Did it get catty?
No, I don't know that a lot of people used it that much. Like a few of us did.
Okay. The losers.
No one wore my dress though.
So, but do you understand now? You're creating a parallel between you as a 30-something-year-old adult with other 30-something-year-old adults wearing dresses to the issues you had in high school for junior prom, right? Like you realize those two things shouldn't be the same.
Some things just never change.
I definitely remember Jessica McClintock.
Yeah.
Huh.
She still makes things.
Moving on from dresses, but you're going to wear the same color dress as the bridesmaids.
Well, yeah, I got to try them on. I've been putting it off because I didn't want to be in a bad mood because I know they're not going to fit. So.
Okay, but regardless of whether or not they fit, I guess,
yes.
You're going to curb your anxiety about wearing the dress because you were asked to as a very nice gesture.
Yes.
Mainly because you know me, for the record.
I mean, that is the only reason I'm going to this wedding. I forgot, a lot of places do this now. The dress shops near us registered you for the dress so people in your school couldn't duplicate if they were shopping at that store. You could go to another store, but back in those days, 2005, online shopping wasn't even a thing.
So I agree, again,
but I don't think they would let you.
That's my problem.
That's crazy.
I agree, the bulletin board, having some sort of registry makes sense. And if that dress store said, hey, just so you know, another girl from North Arlington High School has come in and reserved that same dress in that same color. You can do whatever you want with that information. This is just a courtesy.
But now you have the whole internet.
If you love that dress and it's the dress that fits you well and makes you feel comfortable, it shouldn't matter if someone else is wearing it. You feel good in it, so you go wear that dress.
But I don't think girls today understand because they just order everything to their house and they try it on.
Yeah.
Like my mom and I would spend 8 hours just driving all over New Jersey trying on everything.
But you know what, Carla Marie?
And I'm glad we had that. I'm saying they don't
happy.
Me too. I think you should have that instead of just dresses coming and then you're trying them on by yourself and you don't get that time with your, it's different.
Yeah. Although I'm sure you're putting on the dresses at home and your mom's hopefully helping if you have a mom.
Have you seen some of these girls wear to prom these days? I don't think their moms approve those dresses.
Believe it or not, I'm not scouring the internet looking for pictures of high schoolers in their prom dresses. It's one of my most healthy traits, honestly. All right, moving on. It was on the list a second ago. Rich people have ruined sports. Okay, now hear me out. And even if you're not a sports person, I think you're going to appreciate this, or at least understand this. So this relates currently to college football and baseball. Okay, because right now, today, the Oakland A's are starting their final series in the city of Oakland. They are going to play, I believe, in a minor league ballpark in Sacramento for probably 2 years. And then they will eventually move, hopefully for them, to a finished stadium in Las Vegas. The city of Oakland has now lost the A's. Technically, they lost the Warriors, even though they still play in the same TV market. The Warriors used to play in the Oakland Coliseum. No, the Oracle, whatever it was called in Oakland. Yeah. Now they play across the bay in San Francisco. Brand new $1 billion stadium.
Raiders?
The Raiders left. The Raiders and the A's played in the same stadium. So the Raiders left. The Oakland Coliseum, yeah.
Baseball and football? What is this, high school?
Used to be very common. That was the last stadium that did it. Then they also, if you were a San Francisco 49ers fan and lived in Oakland, now you've got to travel even further because San Francisco's playing in the middle of nowhere in a brand new $1 billion stadium. So the race for all these teams to have the biggest, baddest stadium is killing the fan.
Yeah.
And a lot of these teams will say the same thing. They'll say, oh, well, we didn't want to leave. The owners will say this. We didn't want to leave, but the city just wouldn't give us money to build our new stadium.
I mean, the 76ers almost just left Philly.
I doubt there is a single person who watches us who owns a professional sports team. But I'm going to have to break this news to you. It is not our job to pay for your $1 billion stadium that is going to produce billions of dollars for you because it's your side project. Right? Like Robert Kraft owns Kraft.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
The Patriots are his side project.
Yeah.
He has enough money to fund the entire operation. It is not the taxpayers of New England, of Boston, who need to supplement his income and build his playhouse.
But that's who, like the mayor in Philadelphia just cut a deal with the 76ers to keep them there they're doing that.
And you know what the owner of the 76ers can do, Carla Marie? They can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Because you don't need $400 million of taxpayer money to continue playing basketball in the city where you already have a home.
Doesn't make sense. They don't want to share it with the hockey team.
Oh, boo-hoo. Guess what? If you don't want to share your toys, go buy your own.
Which is crazy because I feel like basketball and hockey share arenas a lot.
Huh?
Basketball and hockey.
Well, across the country, that's very, very common.
Some people say it's dangerous because they put the court right over the ice.
If it's done poorly, it can be dangerous. There was actually a situation where Seton Hall was playing Providence College, right? Yeah. They play at a dual sport facility. They had to call the game in the second half because something happened where it was super warm.
It's the Dunkin' Donuts. It's the Dunkin' Donuts Center.
Yeah, it was super warm unexpectedly. So the ice started melting and condensation started building on the hardwood. So they had to call the game and then finish it the next day at a different facility, like on campus.
Yeah,
it was wild. So yes, there could be a very rare instance.
Okay, so wait, this is happening more places. Mr. Miami Cool said same thing's going on with the Jaguars in their new stadium in Jacksonville. Meach said she and her husband were just talking about this yesterday. If the Brown Stadium moves, which is likely, it's on taxpayers, then the city should get a percentage of the earnings at least.
Not even the city. Every single taxpayer should get a check from the team. They said that says you paid for this stadium. You get a card that says
We're such suckers.
No, you get a card that says you get 50% off all concessions since you built the stadium. You get a refund or a direct check from the Browns every year that says thank you for being a resident of Cleveland and helping us pay for this stadium. That's how it should work.
It's insane.
And here's the craziest part, and we're going to get to college football in a second. If it ends up on a ballot, which every now and then it does. Normally, it ends up being a billionaire convincing City Hall or a mayor or a governor to pay them.
Well, was a ballot in Kansas?
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Kansas City had a great example. And this is, listen, you could love Patrick Mahomes. You can love Taylor Swift. You can love Travis Kelce. You can love the Kansas City Chiefs. That's awesome. My brother's a huge Chiefs fan. He's been since he was a kid. They wanted to build some new infrastructure around Arrowhead, which is where the Chiefs play in Kansas City. When the plans came out, and they were going to ask for taxpayer money for it, the plans came out. It turns out, I think 90% of the infrastructure.
What was the money amount? It was like
it was hundreds of millions of dollars.
Okay.
When the plans came out, it was revealed that I think something like 90% of the infrastructure that was going to be built was not going to benefit the fans whatsoever. They were going to build a new road that would allow VIP access directly into the stadium.
And I said to you when you told me this, Taylor Swift could afford her own road.
Taylor Swift can fly her private jet to the 50-yard line. Taylor Swift can pay the United States military to take one of those crazy planes that drops up and down.
There's no way they're doing this. Just like who? Okay, here's my question.
Well, let me finish the Kansas City thing.
Sorry.
It is. So it was mostly for the millionaire class that was going to be able to benefit.
Who's going there other than Taylor Swift?
There's a lot of rich people that go to games and have the suites and whatnot. It was voted down by the people of Kansas City because they said, no, absolutely not. Are you taking my money to buy yourself a private road to your private press box?
It doesn't make sense.
You were going to ask a question, though?
No, I was going to say who is going to these games that is VIP and needs that road? Like
Taylor Swift.
But that's what I mean. Is that the only person you're going to build a whole road on? Maybe a relationship that's going to last?
I'm sure there's players' families, there's ownership who all have private access already.
We don't have private access here.
But it is ridiculous. And it's seeing the Oakland A's follow the Oakland Raiders to Vegas is just another example of rich people ruining sports. Do I own seats to the Vegas Raiders? I do. It's a beautiful stadium. But I wish the people in Oakland still had their team.
But Vegas didn't build it with taxpayer dollars, right?
A little bit, but it was mostly the casinos that built that money, that stadium, from what I remember. Let me double check it. Who paid for Allegiant Stadium? 2,100,000,000. Oh no, there was
Public funding.
$750 million in public funding, and $1.1 billion from the Raiders. Let me be clear: if you have $1.1 billion to build your stadium, you probably didn't need the extra 750. You could have just built the stadium for $1 billion.
Vegas Super Bowl comes with 24 more years of bills as A's seek more. What does that mean?
As the A, where do you see that?
Vegas Super Bowl comes with 24 more years of bills down.
Oh, I don't know.
Taxpayer bills. Said at the top.
Vegas. The article says Vegas Super Bowl stadium tab tests taxpayers' MLB appetite. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I think people are getting sick of it. I think people are getting sick, A, of being taxed to death, but also watching millionaires directly take their tax money.
Yeah.
And listen.
What about the schools?
Do those stadiums create some jobs for the local community? They do. But guess what? Those jobs benefit the billionaire owners.
Jordan,
so that's how that works. If you have a business, you have to pay your employees.
Jordan said that Green Bay's doing it right, being a publicly traded team, and the fans buy shares, and that money pays for the stadium. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the model in Green Bay is very unique. Let's see. Marijuana. Paying for the stadium, then charging hundreds of dollars to go see the teams play in the stadiums they paid for.
It's so insane. And then the food and
then I will pivot for a second away from pro sports to how rich people have ruined college sports. There's been a lot of adjustments and changes in it's a different scenario in the college football landscape. A lot of conferences over the last 15 years, really, but mostly in the past 2 years, have realigned. So, for example, the Big 12, which was always anchored by teams like Texas and Oklahoma, those teams are no longer in the Big 12. They now play in the SEC. The Pac-12 basically died because its anchors, USC, UCLA, Washington, Oregon, are all now in the Big Ten. And what this does is it always hurts the little guy. So now you have smaller conferences like the Mountain West who are going to basically cease existing because their teams are now being taken by the Pac-12 that was rated. So it's this weird game of dominoes where the rich get richer, the small schools get screwed, and the rivalries that you loved in college football all go away.
They don't exist. It's crazy.
There aren't rich owners necessarily in college football like there are in pro sports, right? Because these are schools. But it ends up being these conference commissioners who have crazy salaries, who get paid basically based on their TV deal. So if they can convince Fox, CBS, or ESPN to give them more money because they added Texas or Washington or Maryland or whoever, they make more money. And the whole thing, you were complaining the other day, Carla Marie, about why there was a game, maybe the Rutgers game. You were trying to figure out what time it was a couple of weeks in advance, and they don't have the time.
No, they switched the day. And
that is because the TV station that runs that game gets to choose the best time.
Sometimes they don't even
makes traveling to these games very difficult.
They don't even tell you the time sometimes. I've had Rutgers games where I found out the time 3 days before the game.
Normally, I think there's an 8-day window. They have to let you know where you're playing or what time you're playing within 8 days.
Oh, the game on Friday, Rutgers UW, it's 5 p.m. our time.
Yeah. It's a blackout, right?
Yeah.
So it's just crazy that
the
things we love keep getting screwed over by rich people.
Yep.
That's really what it comes down to.
That's right. That was yesterday when I said that Rutgers and Seahawks were both 3-0.
Yeah.
My teams. This is a great time to be alive.
How's your fantasy football team doing?
They are not 3-0, but they are not 0-3.
What are you, 1-2?
Did I lose yesterday?
I don't know. That's your team. You're supposed to be managing it.
Yeah, I think I'm 1-2.
Wow, the team manager doesn't
I
even
play
know.
your cousin Rita this week.
Oh, I just beat Rita. Sucka. So 2 losers are facing off this week.
Game over, Carla Marie. Jeez. Why do they make it so rough? It's raining on my screen.
What was your final score?
I lost 154 to 108.
Okay. Let's see. NCAA football should be non-conference. Other NCAA sports should be more regional for closer travel. I do agree with that, Sarah from Michigan.
These guys got school.
Huh?
They got school. They got to travel across the country for a game.
Yes. The argument, though, to just remove football from all of the conferences is it's much easier to travel for football. You have a shorter season. You're only playing 12 games, max. Other teams, track, baseball,
they have to do it too.
Track meets were 3 days long. Now, you're expecting me to go to a track meet that my conference mates are in, but for Washington, your conference mates are now across the country. Right? For baseball, you're traveling back and forth to these places a lot.
I know.
And you're doing it for a series, oftentimes. You're doing it for 2 days, 3 days, whatever. It's much harder on the non-football
for sure
sports, and basketball is a little easier, I guess. Those players are at least, they have the option of getting paid decently now.
And they're the reason all of it was changed.
Yeah.
Fred the Mailman, thank you for pointing that out. If you remember, when I drafted my team, I drafted Austin Eckler from the Washington Commanders, and everyone made fun of me because I accidentally drafted based off of 2021 recommendations, not 2024 recommendations. And Austin Eckler scored a touchdown last night.
He's not having a bad season.
I lost my mind when that happened. I was screaming.
And there are people in the chat here in Washington talking about the Apple Cup, because one of the weird things that this conference realignment has done is Washington, University of Washington, and Washington State are no longer in the same conference.
So stupid.
Washington State is currently one of the only 2 teams left in the Pac-12, the Pac-2 now, while Washington, Oregon, USC, and UCLA went over to the Big Ten. They always played their last regular season game against one another, and it would alternate home sites. It was called the Apple Cup.
Thanksgiving weekend.
They now, because they're not conference mates, they're playing that much earlier in the season, in the non-conference season, and so it's like the middle of September.
They played at Lumen Field 2 weeks ago, and it was like a third-party company that puts it on.
Yeah.
It wasn't like either of the schools putting the game on.
Which I will say, and if I had to pick an affiliation, I would be a UW fan. Sorry, Cougs. But I'm kind of happy UW lost. Because UW, not going to lie, they were feeling themselves a little bit. They got to the national championship game last year.
And then Rutgers is going to beat their asses on Friday.
They get to the national championship game last year. They changed conferences. Now they're in the big, bad Big Ten. But you know what? You couldn't even hold down your own state.
They got put in their place.
And that's what you deserve.
Yeah.
Sorry. I had to say it. I also do hope Rutgers absolutely gets smoked on Friday.
Why would you say that?
I want
New Jersey to lose? I would root for Seton Hall over UW. Over UW. Jersey, I would want Jersey to win. I would.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm going to watch the game with...
That is the biggest lie.
I'm going to watch the game with someone who went to UW and someone who went to Ramapo.
Okay.
And the Ramapo person is cheering for Rutgers.
Yeah, because Ramapo's not it's not a rival to Rutgers. No one at Rutgers cares about Ramapo. No one at Ramapo cares about Rutgers.
I'll remember this.
When?
When Seton Hall's playing UW. In something.
That's fine. It could happen.
I'm going to paint my whole body.
It's way more possible for basketball teams to play teams, other schools out of their conference. Because there's preseason tournaments.
Well, Rutgers is playing UW basketball.
Obviously, because they're in the same conference now.
Back to back, men and women's. I'm so excited.
I will go to that game painted purple.
I just said that I was going to do that.
Painted purple?
I literally said I will paint myself purple.
If what?
UW plays your school. And then 30 seconds later, you said it.
Yeah. But mine is likely.
Like you invented the painting.
No, mine is likely. Mine will happen this year. I'm not going to paint myself purple. But
before we leave, we do have to do a special birthday shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Because today's my friend Laura's birthday, which it is, but I just wanted to throw off the person who we were also.
Okay.
Amy from Seattle Cocktail Club. It is her birthday today. She doesn't like telling people when it's her birthday, but we found out and it's her birthday.
So none of this stuff, the studio wouldn't be here. Nope. The show may not be here. There's a lot of things that wouldn't be possible without Amy. So Amy, happy birthday. We love you. You're the best.
They're laughing.
You good,
Carly? They just heard something that we said that was funny.
Are we done, you purple people eater?
Yes. Goodbye.